Everybody loves the underdog story, right? I am a sucker for one myself, especially in the transfer portal era. We got the guy that transfers that was unrecruited or under recruited in high school, goes to a smaller school, balls out there, and then transfers up to a bigger school and balls out there as well. Unfortunately, the majority of people who transfer up do not meet expectations. Um, there are just a lot of people that fall off. You see it with like Nick Timberlake last year going from Towson to Kansas. But there are also these mid-major guys that have blossomed at their new schools, like Mark Sears going from Ohio to Alabama, Janai Broome going from Morehead State to Auburn, and then most recently Dalton Connect going from Northern Colorado to Tennessee. Well, Tennessee got themselves another one, and this is an incredible story, in my opinion, one that's worth the college basketball world seeing. And it's the story of my guy, Chaz Lanier. Chaz Lanier, did not watch him play at all last year. Just saw his stats, and you'll see, holy cow, his stats were incredible last year. He was the most efficient player in America, even ahead of Zach Edey. That's crazy per synergy stats. But this is the tale of how he went from a guy who was literally riding the bench at North Florida and wasn't winning at all to being on a team, being the best player in the best conference on one of the best teams in America. Chaz Lanier, right? This is Chaz Lanier in 2020, right? He graduated high school, was under recruited. He only had 2 D1 offers, right? Excuse me. Okay, re-rack that. This is Chaz Lanier in 2020, old Chaz Lanier. See, he doesn't have the beard. He doesn't have as much muscle and stuff. This was freshman Chaz Lanier, 18, 19 years old. He's from Nashville, Tennessee. From what I know, he played for a private school, but he had 2 Division I offers, partially because of a late growth spurt, but partially just because he was under recruited and was under the radar. And unlike Janai Broome, who I covered and was immediately impactful from the start at Morehead State, Chaz Lanier was not. This is what makes the story even crazier. He averaged in 3 seasons at North Florida. He was coming off the bench for all 3 seasons. He only started like 9 or 10 games or whatnot. Wasn't even close to the best player on his team. Scored 3.6 points per game. 3.6 points per game, playing 16.6 minutes, averaging 6.6 minutes. His numbers went up a little bit from his freshman year to his junior year. But, I mean, it wasn't even close to what he'd do next. That summer, the summer of 2023, must have been an insane one. In this time, he did put on looks like 25 pounds of strength. Dude is very strong. But still, summer of 2023, this was the biggest glow up, I think, basketball glow up of all time. Like one of the biggest I've ever seen. In 2023, this is Chaz Lanier in 2023, for a North Florida team that, granted, wasn't really that good. He was first team All Atlantic Sun. He played 33 minutes a game, started every single game except one. Averaged almost 20 points on 51, 44, 88%. That's 51% from the field, 44% from three, 88% from the line. That's almost a very high 50, 40, 90, which is extremely, extremely difficult to accomplish. This man is an amazing scorer and shooter, and he showed it in that 1 year. But the question that everybody had, or at least I had, was because he went into the portal as one of the most coveted recruits. The question that was on everybody's mind was, where was this guy in the previous 3 years? And is a 1 year sample size enough? Like, he's a senior who was sitting on the bench for 3 years. This might just be a fluke, it just might be empty stats on a bad team. But if there's anyone who has shown that they can take a transfer and make him into an all SEC player over the past couple of years, it is the Tennessee Volunteers. And they got themselves a good one. This is Chaz Lanier in 2024. Chaz Lanier now. He's averaging 17.7 points per game, 40% from three. One thing I've just learned about him is he's an incredible shooter. Like, of course, he has his off nights, as everybody does, but he takes deep threes, contested threes, and he knocks them down at a very high clip. He's an elite level shooter. He's likely all SEC first team. I think he will be. And he's the best player on a Tennessee team that is number 4 in the nation right now in a very, very tough conference that might be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. That's crazy. If you would have told me a random guy sitting on the bench for North Florida in the year 2021 would be the best player on the number 4 team in the nation in 2025, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have called you crazy, all that stuff. But it's Chaz Lanier. Seems like a really good dude, and I wish him nothing but the best. If I'm an NBA team, I'm picking him in the first round. And honestly, as much as I've talked bad about Tennessee this year, if there's anyone who can get hot and carry this Tennessee team in March, it's this guy.